here we go, class. So here's another exciting video. This one coming at 11:31 p.m. on, what night is it? Thursday night. And Olivia Brown's here to say hello. And Amanda Lago is also here doing homework, I may say.
Trin Dog's here too, buddy.
Yo.
It's not a video, just here's your voice.
Oh, can I say yo in a really deep voice?
Okay.
Yo.
Yo. That was good. I don't sound like Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
We lost the first game. I'm going over game review.
Okay. Go back to your homework. I gotta get this
that was
done.
a toothbrush.
I want to go to bed.
Mr. O'Kerry's toothbrush.
No, it's a pencil. It's not a toothbrush.
It's not a pencil, it's a pen.
No, it's a pencil.
Really?
Yes.
Are they going to hear all this?
Yes, I can hear all this. I don't edit anything. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go over what we did yesterday with the transformations of sine. Okay, it's also cosine, but we haven't talked about cosine yet, but it's also just transformation of sine. So let's review. A in transformation is the amplitude. Okay, so A is amplitude. So whatever that number is, it's going to be your amplitude. Okay, I should have mentioned earlier, get your sheet out from yesterday and take a peek at that. So it should have everything written there already. Okay, so A is amplitude. Let's go with D next. D is your vertical shift. So if it's positive, go up. And if it's negative, go down. Okay. Also, a neat thing about your vertical shift, that is your equation of axis. Okay, your angle of axis. I think that's what we called it yesterday. Angle of axis. Okay. Then our C value is equal to our phase shift. So it's a horizontal shift. Okay. In your horizontal shift, if it's negative in the equation, you go right. And if it's positive in the equation, go left. So this all should be a review for you from yesterday, hopefully. But I got reports back from a couple people that we didn't understand yesterday, which is fine. So that's why we're doing it again. Your K value is adjusting the period. Okay? Oh, and I just realized I wrote that down wrong. It should be, let's wipe this out. It should be 360. Uh-oh. Right, let me do this over again. So it should be, I'll write it down up here, 360 divided by K. That's how we're going to find period, not K divided by 360. So I'll write that over here. It's 360 divided by K. So we're going to go through all these again and review what each one means. And then we are going to start sketching. Okay? So let's take a look at this first one. And we're looking at our A value here. So if you look here, our amplitude is 1. Right. Here, our amplitude is 1. Our axis of symmetry, right, isn't there. There's no D value, so that's going to be 0. And our period, and we have no K value, so our period is going to be 360. All right, so let's do the next one. So, amplitude here, we're looking at A, so that's going to be 2. Our equation, or axis symmetry, x-axis symmetry, what do I call it there? Equation of axis, we don't have it, it's all 0, and our period is going to be 360. And I'm going to let you do the rest by yourself, except for this one here. This here is going to be, no, amplitude's always positive, so it's going to be 1. We have to remember that negative just means we're going to reflect it in the x-axis. So it's going to go down first instead of going up. And big hint here, All these are 0 and 360. Okay, so if you can pause the video right now and continue this, and then once everyone's set, we can restart the video. Okay, apparently you're back because you're now listening to the video again.
Yes.
So let's just go over here again. So that's going to be 0.5. That's going to be 2. And this is 10. And all these are 0 and 360. So I don't have to write those out. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. We're looking at our D value now. If we go back up here, our D values are vertical shift. Right? So we're looking at this one right here. And it's also our angle of axis or equation of axis. So let's take a look at the standard one. When I say like standard or mother equation, it's y equals sine x. So our amplitude here is 1. Our equation of axis is going to be 0 because there's nothing there yet. And our period is going to be, period is going to be 360. Okay. So let's pick another one of these. Let's go with the next one, of course. There's still a 1 instead of sine there, so we're just going to go 1 there. Now our axis, equation of axis is now changed. Since we've shifted up 1, that graph would go up 1, so it's 1. And our period, since we haven't changed our k value, is still 360. Okay, and I'm going to do this one here. So 1, 1, our equation of axis, -5, since that is our D value, and we still haven't had our, we still haven't changed our K value, so we're still having 360 here. So, I know I went through that pretty quick. I'll slow down for the next one, but pause it through here, and we will pick it up once everyone's done. So go through that graph and pick it up. And we're back.
Period.
And Brown and Lago really like the fact that I keep saying period. All right, so all these are going to be 360 periods because there's no k value switch. There's 360, 360, 360, and 360. This one here, amplitude here, these are all 1 since we have no a value. But this last one here has an amplitude of 12. Since we have a 12 as an a value, and we'll keep correcting this. This is going to be -1. This is going to be 5. This one here is going to be 20. And the last one's going to be 6. And Brown just showed me a note that made no sense at all. That said, this just in, period. All right. So next is going to be, and I forgot to write these on, of course. This here is our k value. Okay. So the k value is 360 divided by that number. Okay. 360 divided by k. So this is how long it takes to go from one to the next, right? And our standard is going to be, we go through our standard here, we have amplitude of 1, and this is going to be 0 since there's no D value. And our K value is, there's no K value, so we're still at 360. Okay? Now next one, we take a look here. Our amplitude's still 1. There's no A value here. There's a 1 in front. Okay? Our equation of axis, there's no D value, so it's still 0. Now our period is 360 divided by 2, which is now 360 divided by 2 is 180. Okay? Then, so that's 360 divided by k. And Lago and Brown should be going to bed soon. Over here.
Period.
Alright.
Period.
So I'll do the next one here. No A value, so we're still at 1. Axis symmetry, still at 0. Then 360 divided by 1 over 4. That's the same as 360 divided by 0.25. So let me get out my calculator. We got 360 divided by 0.25 equals 1440. Right? And when you divide by a fraction, you're multiplying the period by. So please pause the movie here now and try these two by yourself. All right, let's take up what you have. So this should be 1. This here, we're at 0 still. This here is 360 divided by 3. So that's going to equal 120. Then the last one was 1, 0. And this is going to be, let's go 360 divided by 1, divided by 0.1. It's going to be 3,600. Good. So our last value we haven't touched yet is C. This is our phase shift. If you remember back to yesterday, think back to yesterday, a negative here, although I really don't like this now. This should be minus C. I don't know why it says plus C. Okay, you two should be going to bed and not buying candy at 11:43 at night.
Do you want the orange one, Mr.
I gave you an orange one because it matches your shirt.
So, I'm having the Skittles. So, let's go through all this now. And they're kind of all together. So, our period. Oh, let's start with the amplitude, since we always start with the amplitude. 3 here is our amplitude. So we're going to go 3. Okay? Our equation of axis here is our, what is it? Our D value. Where did I go here? Our D value, so it's going to be 10. Our period is 2x. So we're going to go 360 divided by 2, which is 180. So all that stuff is we've done before, right? This here goes here. This here goes here. Oh, what did I do? Yeah. And then this here goes here. And we have no phase shift in this one. So our phase shift is going to be 0. Okay. Now, let's get into one that's a little more detailed here. So I'm still going to start with A value because we really like doing that first. We've always done that first. So it's negative 10 is our A value because we have a negative 10 here. Now, realistically, amplitude is always positive, so we're going to go 10. Okay. Then we're going to look at our equation axis, angle axis. That's a 1. So we're going to go 1 here, right? Because we moved up the graph 1. Now our period is 0.5. So 360 divided by 0.5 is going to be 720. Now our phase shift is right here. So it's a negative number, but that means we're actually going to go to we're going to go right 15 degrees. We're going to go right 15. Okay? So, let's do the next one. Our next one, the amplitude, is our A value, so it's going to be 4. Our axis, angle of axis, whatnot, is going to be 8. So it means it's going up 8. We have amplitude of forward. It's going up 8. The period is 5 here. So I'm going to go 360 divided by 5. 360 divided by 5 equals 72. So it's only going to take 72 to go through everything. And lastly, our phase shift is minus 90, so we're going to go right 90 degrees. So there's 3 left there. I'll let you do those.
Stop. Drop
And pause the movie here.
Here. This is my-
The movie's not actually paused, Brown. I'm just saying pause. They're going to pause it.
Here.
Okay?
So are they gonna hear us struggle?
They're going to hear us right now when they
You
turn it back
have
on.
something
It's probably more skills.
Wait, Mr.
Okay,
Oh,
Do you
wait.
want different color than orange? I just
we're
think
back.
you like orange.
we're back. Thank you, Brown. You two go to bed. It's
Period.
period. It's 9:47. We got a 9 a.m. game tomorrow. 11:47. All right, let's take this up real quick. Amplitude is 20. Okay. Remember, the negative amplitude is always positive, and the negative just means it goes down first. Our equation of access is 25. So we're shifting the graph up 25. Our period is still 360 because there's no number, there's no k value there. So it's just going to be 360. Then our shift is positive this time, so this means we're going to go left 25 degrees. Now, it has cosine here, but we're just going to pretend it is a sine, okay? Because the shifts are still the same. We haven't learned sine, cosine graph, but we're fine. So first of all, amplitude. There's nothing in front, so it's going to be 1. Equation of axis, axis of angle of axis is going to be 4, which means you're shifting it up 4. Our period, 360 divided by 3, which is going to equal 120. Then our phase shift, and we don't have a phase shift, so it's going to be NA. We're just going to leave it alone. And our last one is going to be, amplitude first. So amplitude's 2, because that's the number in front. Our axis of symmetry, or angle of axis, is 2. We're moving it up 2. Our period is going to be 360 divided by 1 divided by 3 is 1080. And then there's no phase shift. So we're going there. So hopefully we are able to identify what's going on in our graph now. So let's go and graph it. Okay. The main thing you have to realize is what the original graph looks like. Okay. So once we understand that, it makes graphing a little bit easier. So I'm going to graph the first one. Now if I graph just sine x, y equals sine x, that's what I'm graphing. Okay, I'll highlight this in green. Let's see if I can do all my markers in green. Maybe light green, but same difference. If we remember this, our points, we start at 0, we end at 360. Right? That also means halfway between there is 180, so that's where we're going to cross over the x-axis again. Then, halfway between here, if we know it goes up first, halfway is 90, we're going to go up, and halfway here is 270, and we're going to go down. So there's the basic points of our graph, right? So we kind of have to know what we're graphing, like where we're starting from, but we want to make alterations. So there's our starting. So let's do this one in pink. Okay. Now we don't have a pink marker, so I'll go red for this.
You want an orange one?
So when you are graphing, we start with reflection, stretch, and compression. Okay. So that means we're starting with the our negative A, we got to know that first, and our K value. So let's work with that first. So do we have a negative here? No. Do we have a K value? No. So now we're going to shift it left and right, if possible, and amplitude. Okay, so first things first, do we have a, what's that, a D value, right? We don't have a D here, so it's not going to go up or down. So we're good, but it is going to go 30 degrees to the right. Okay, so let's do our red here. It's going to go 30 degrees to the right. So that means I'm just going to shift everything down 30 degrees. So instead of it being 90, we're going to push it down 30 degrees. So if I do my first ones here, we're going to end at here and here. Now our amplitude's 2. So that means we're going to go to our 120 here, which is halfway between these two, and go up 2 this time. And we're going to go to our 300 and go down 2. So there's our graph, like such. And there's our graph. So hopefully we understand that. Let's go for the next one here. Now, I'll graph our basic one again. 0, 180, 360, then go halfway, go up 1, halfway, go down 1. So there's our base graph again. Right? So go up, down, there is our sine curve. Boom. So let's take a look here. Do we have a compression, so a K value, right? Or a, what did we talk about here? Or a negative. Right, so we have no negative in front, we have no K value. So all we're doing is shifting it up and down, left and right. This here is positive, so we're going to go left 60 degrees. Okay? So we're going to go left 60 degrees. Okay. You two need to go upstairs to go to bed. No. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go left 60 degrees. So we're going to go here. But we also have a vertical shift of -2, which means we're going to go down here, the 2. So that's my starting point. Okay? So then, if I want to graph it, and there's no amplitude change here. So we're going to do the same thing. So realistically, we're going to go over, let's go over 180 first. Right? So over 180 from -60, we're going to go here. So there's our first 3 points. 180, 180. We're there. And halfway between there, we're going to go up 1 because there's only amplitude. There's an amplitude of 1, right? And down here. So if I were to summarize this once I draw it, so if I were to write a summary of what we're doing here, kind of you make that chart we did before. Amplitude of 1, right? Period of 360. We have a horizontal shift of left 60 and a vertical shift of -2, right? So I have amplitude of 1, I have a 360, and I had my shift back 60 and down 2. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, we are almost done. So if I take a look at the shifts that are happening here, I have amplitude change. Amplitude is now a half, right? Amplitude equals 0.5, right? Then what did we always do next? We did, I think, amplitude, then axis, a vertical shift, right? Vertical, up 2, right? And horizontal equals left 30 degrees. So there's everything I have there. I don't have a K value to mess with, right? I don't have a K to stretch and shrink it. So let's go here. So the first thing I have to do is sketch where it starts. So we're going up to left 30. Okay, so we're going to go up to left 30, and I'm here. Okay, so that's where I am right now. Now, there's no period shift here. There's no K value, so we're okay here. So therefore, I'm going to mark my every 180 like so. There's no negative, so I know it's going up first. So I'm going to go here, but how much is it going up by? It's going up by 0.5 since that's my K value. So I'm going to go over, up 0.5, 0.5 there, and boom. I've got it to graph here. Boom. So, I'll give you a couple seconds to catch up. So, now, here's the homework I want you to do. I want you to attempt to graph these. Okay? Although I realize I didn't give you any K values, which is simple for you. So you have, how many graph? You have a bunch to graph there. You can do more on one thing graph. I gave you 6 graphs to do, to work with. But you have more than 6, but you can graph more, just graph them different colors. Okay? I'll hopefully have that online for you tomorrow, if possible. Okay? Brown just gave me something to read to you in Lago.
Amanda.
I drew the picture.
So, I don't know if I can actually read it.
What do you mean? It's Brown's writing.
It doesn't make any sense if they don't see the picture.
No, it does. It does.
Skater Boy was originally written and composed by Mozart, but he gave it to Avril Lavigne as it was too emotional and deep for him to perform. And there's an Insta.
No, that is from the Insta.
Well, it's from the Insta page.
And
So
tell them about the drawing.
it's a
Picture of Mozart.
picture of what Mozart, I guess, looks like, giving it to Avril Lavigne with the big hat. And then Avril's going, my career is saved. So I apologize for you having to listen to this. I've wasted a minute of your time and your life you'll never get back.
You have a like radio
All right.
spokesperson voice.
So have a good class, and I will see everyone Monday.